The candidates, they say, are risking their general election chances by taking on one another and tarnishing Barack Obama's legacy instead of focusing on defeating President Trump. President Obama is, after all, an ex-president with 95% popularity among Democrats, according to Gallup, and 65% among independents. Now, again, this is not us giving Democrats advice. This is Democrats and some Republicans giving Democrats advice, echoing President Obama, who warned about this before the campaign even got going at a town hall in Berlin earlier this year.
One of the things I do worry about sometimes among progressives in the United States, maybe it's true here as well, is a certain kind of rigidity where we say, I'm sorry, this is how it's going to be, and then we start sometimes creating what's called a circular firing squad, where you start shooting at your allies because one of them is straying from purity on the issues.
Well, that sentiment is being echoed now. Here's CNN political commentator and Democratic strategist Paul Begala earlier today.
This is my problem. The whole two-day debate is I believe many of these candidates seeking to win the nomination are setting themselves up to lose the presidency to Donald Trump.
Well, Begala arguing that in the effort to win the primaries, Democratic candidates are moving so far left they won't be able to win in a general election. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer also weighed in, calling Democratic squabbling over health care policy, quote, a trap that we shouldn't fall into. No circular firing squads, he added. Eric Holder, who served as Attorney General under President Obama, tweeted this: to my fellow Democrats, be wary of attacking the Obama record, build on it, expand it, but there's little to be gained for you or the party by attacking a very successful and still popular Democratic president. Now, other Democrats will say that hammering out policy differences are part and parcel of any primary in either party, and there are real policy differences between Democrats. Differences that candidates want to make clear so they can distinguish themselves in what is a very crowded field. The question is, can Democrats figure out a way to pick a nominee without debasing the eventual nominee or harming the credibility of the still popular former standard bearer? That remains to be seen.
First of its kind, though, in this case, tariffs that have already been applied, they're going to be waived going forward for a year. This feels like a huge step from China. Is it an olive branch ahead of fresh talks, or is this acknowledgement that tariffs are hurting the domestic economy, or perhaps both here?
I think a little bit of both, but the latter is a big driver here. I mean, you're talking about cancer treatment drugs, and you're talking about the kinds of products you use to feed livestock and in the production of their own agriculture industry. So it looks to me like they're trying to make sure that really important parts of their economy aren't going to be hurt, and the social, frankly, social stability in their country isn't going to be hurt by the higher prices there. Cancer patients and farmers, that's, you know, pretty basic here. So you got two big rounds here. One list, it's a total, just you can waive these categories. It's everything from shrimp seedlings, fish meal for feed, lubricating oil, and the like. The second list, these are also exemptions: whey, a mold release agent, a base stock for lubricating oil. Some of these you're going to be able to get a refund on if you've already paid these tariffs. Others, there's just a reprieve going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did note that neither pork nor soybeans, of course, critical.
Politically sensitive, not on that list.
Yeah.
Out front tonight, Trump is pushing a new conspiracy theory once again about voter fraud. This time, though, it's Google's fault, apparently. Here's his tweet from today. Report just out. Google manipulated from 2.6 million to 16 million votes from Hillary Clinton for Hillary Clinton in 2016 election. This was put out by a Clinton supporter. He continues, not a Trump supporter. Google should be sued. My victory was even bigger than thought. Bigger than thought. There is no evidence of that. There is no real evidence of that, I should say. His theory based off not a new report even, but congressional testimony from last month. Testimony that got little attention and was largely ignored. That is, until the theory appeared today on Fox Business, discussing claims by a researcher named Robert Epstein, who claims Google may have shifted millions of votes to Hillary Clinton. How? Well, Epstein, the researcher, blames bias in Google search results.
In 2016, Google's search algorithm likely impacted undecided voters in a way that shifted at least 2.6 million votes to Hillary Clinton. The 2.6 million is a rock bottom minimum The range is between 2.6 and 10.4 million.
But to be clear, there is no evidence that search results were skewed. Additionally, Google denies that. And take it one step further, if search results were biased, there's no evidence that it changed a single vote. But in typical Trump fashion, none of that context matters, or the fact that all real evidence shows that Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by nearly 3 million votes. Clinton was quick to respond to the president's new claim, tweeting this. The debunked study you're referring to was based on 21 undecided voters, but for context, that's about half the number of people associated with your campaign who have been indicted. Clearly, still no love lost there. And here is the thing. This isn't the first time that the president has pushed baseless claims about millions of illegal votes in 2016. Remember this from President Trump's policy advisor, Stephen Miller?
Having worked before on a campaign in New Hampshire, I can tell you that this issue of busing voters into New Hampshire is widely known by anyone who's worked in New Hampshire politics. It's very real. It's very serious. This morning on this show is not the venue for me to lay out all the evidence.
There was no evidence. There's no evidence of that. I myself have spoken to the offices of the Secretary of State of New Hampshire and the Attorney General's office way back when he was talking about this, and they didn't then have any evidence of seeing any buses coming in. So there's that, and then there is this.
Many places, like California, the same person votes many times. You probably heard about that. They always like to say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. Not a conspiracy theory, folks. Millions and millions of people.
There was much illegal voting. They're voting like really early. And we have to discuss that early thing. That's sort of, so many things are going on, so many things. I wonder what happens during the evenings when those places are locked.
Again, no evidence, no matter how many times you say it. But don't take my word for it. The president's own commission to investigate widespread voter fraud found none before it disbanded.